And welcome everyone, a very pleasant good evening, a Saturday afternoon here from the Boshemer Gymnasium on the campus of Brevard College, located here in the mountains of western North Carolina. A rainy Saturday afternoon as the Tornadoes take on the #1 unbeaten in USA South play, Southern Virginia Knights, looking to avenge a road loss that they suffered a couple of weeks back in Buena Vista, Virginia. Josie Hester is good to go. McKenna Parkins still out for the Tornadoes, but Hester in warm-ups and getting ready to go here after missing the last couple of games. She'll be joined by the likes of Nalia Boyce, Lexi Shepard, and Olivia Miller as the Tornadoes look to move up in the conference, hopefully, as they sit at 12-4, 7-3 in conference play. Southern Virginia 11-0 in conference play. Tornadoes trying to add a notch in that loss column for the first time this season. About 20 minutes away from tip-off, I am Brady Penn bringing you the action here from the Bosch. Tornadoes and Knights. Don't go anywhere, folks. Back here in just a moment with pregame stats and thoughts before we get this one tipped off from the Bosch. back here from the Bosch, Tornadoes and Knights about 10 minutes away as head coach Donald Hudson seeks career victory number 87, picked up number 86 last weekend in a 20-point blowout victory over William Peace. And let's take a look at both of these teams and the matchup history. Tornadoes 1-2 all time in the matchup, riding a 2-game losing streak. The Tornadoes did win the inaugural matchup between these two teams, but since then it's been tough sailing as the Tornadoes lost at this time last year in January at Southern Virginia in overtime, and then a couple of weeks ago, January 12th, Tornadoes losing 78-50 on the bad end of a blowout there in Buena Vista, Virginia. So a split last season, Tornadoes hoping for a split this season, and they're playing in a building that they very well could accomplish that. 7-1 here at home in the Bosch as the Tornadoes sit at 12-4 overall, 7-3 in conference play, but they sit fourth in the USA South, however, despite riding a 3-game winning streak. In that win streak, the Tornadoes have defeated Mary Baldwin, Warren Wilson, and William Peace. And a lot of that has been due to Olivia Miller. Miller 6th in the conference in scoring and 3rd in field goal percentage. Tornadoes will be without McKenna Parkins, who's top 10 in multiple categories in the conference. But they will have Josie Hester back. Josie 3rd in the conference in 3-pointers per game. A big part, those two, of the Tornadoes' #1 offense in the USA South. And the Tornadoes also 2nd in opponent field goal percentage, just behind Southern Virginia. 2nd in team 3-point percentage, just behind Southern Virginia. They're 1st in assist to turnover ratio with Southern Virginia right behind them. So for all it's worth, the statistics lead and point to both of these teams being the top 2 in the conference. Now the Tornadoes do sit at 4th in the conference behind North Carolina Wesleyan, who they fell to back at the end of November, and Methodist, who sits at 9-1 in conference play. Tornadoes lost to them as well, but the statistics say that the Tornadoes are the 2nd best team in this conference. Now it's up to them to come out and show it here on the floor of the Bosch. Olivia Miller, Josie Hester, they'll have Nalia Boyce, and everybody else really besides McKenna Parkins. And they look to try to hand Southern Virginia their first conference loss. When we get back in a moment, we will have the starting lineups for you. And then after that, we'll send it down to the PA for the announcement of those along with the national anthem. And then it'll be time for some Tornado basketball against the #1 unbeaten team in the conference. A exciting challenge and opportunity for head coach Donald Hudson, assistant coach Annalie Bollinger, and the entire Tornado women's basketball program. Back here in just a moment from the Bosch, Tornadoes and Knights. Back here from the Bosch, got the starting lineups for both squads ahead of game time. And we'll start with the Southern Virginia Knights, who come into this one first in the conference, 13-4, 11-0, unbeaten in conference play and riding a 9-game winning streak. Tornadoes going to try and stop that one from reaching double figures as Southern Virginia comes in here off of a 78-53 victory against Mary Baldwin. For the Knights, this is how they line up. Starts off with number 1, Maria Savoon, the sophomore guard out of Cary, North Carolina, Green Level High School. After that, it's number 11, Abigail Snyder, the sophomore guard out of Rocky Ford, Colorado, Rocky Ford High School. Then it's number 25, Alyssa Weiland, the junior guard out of Longmont, Colorado, Skyline High School. She's followed up by number 30, Ruth Kempler, the sophomore center out of Santa Clarita, California, Saugus High School. And rounding out the 5 is number 32, Asia Foster, the sophomore forward out of Knightdale, North Carolina, St. David's High School. The Knights are led by head coach Lynette Schroeder in year 5, and she is assisted by Mr. Brett Schroeder in year 5 as well. Bit of a package deal perhaps for the Southern Virginia Knights. For the Tornadoes, it's number 4, China Pouncey, the senior guard, 5'7", out of Dillon, South Carolina, Dillon High School. After her, it's number 5, Lexi Shepard, the junior guard, 5'2", out of Somerville, South Carolina, Somerville High School. Then it's the reigning USA South Rookie of the Year, number 10, Olivia Miller, sophomore forward, 5'10", out of Hudson, North Carolina, South Caldwell High School. Number 15, Josie Hester, transferred over here this year, the junior guard, 5'9", out of Huntersville, North Carolina, transferred over here from UVA Wise, out of United Faith Christian High School. And then it's number 50, the force down low, Nalia Boyce, the junior center, 6-0 out of Marion, North Carolina, McDowell High School. Nados are led once again by head coach Donald Hudson in year 8 with the Brevard College Tornadoes program after being a player here, now coaching for his alma mater. He is assisted by Miss Annalie Bollinger. Same story for her, year 3 for Coach Bollinger. And the Tornadoes going to try and get the first victory in the USA South play for any team against the Southern Virginia Knights. About 2.5 minutes away, we will send it down to the PA, Mr. Ray Gill, a member of the Brevard College Athletic Hall of Fame, to give you the starting lineups. We'll have the national anthem. It'll be time for some Tornado basketball. A good one on tap here today, Knights and Nados. Don't go anywhere, folks. Basketball here in just a minute.
Gymnasium on the campus of Brevard College for this afternoon's matchup between Southern Virginia and your Brevard College Tornadoes. At this time, the Brevard College Department of Athletics respectfully asks that you please stand for the playing of our national anthem. Thank you. Now let's meet the starting lineups. First for the visitors from Southern Virginia, the Knights. A sophomore guard from Cary, North Carolina, number 1, Maria Savoon. A sophomore guard from Rocky Ford, Colorado, number 11, Abigail Snyder. A junior guard from Longmont, Colorado, number 25, Alyssa Lymel. A sophomore center from Santa Clarita, California, number 30, Ruth Kemper. And a sophomore forward from Knightdale, North Carolina, number 32, Asia Foster. The Knights are under the direction of head coach Lynette Schroeder. Assistant coach is Brett Schroeder. And now, let's meet the starting lineup for your Brevard College Tornadoes. A senior guard from Dillon, South Carolina, number 4, China Pouncey. A junior guard from Summerville, South Carolina, number 5, Lexi Shepard. A sophomore forward from Hudson, North Carolina, number 10, Olivia Miller. A junior guard from Huntersville, North Carolina, number 15, Josie Hester. And a junior center from Marion, North Carolina, number 50, Nalia Boyce. Tornadoes under the direction of head coach Donald Hudson. The associate head coach is Annalie Bollinger. The athletic trainer.
There you have it, folks. Starting lineups for both squads, and now all that's left to do is tip the ball off and get going here. 2:03 in Brevard, North Carolina right now as we prepare for these two teams to match up against each other. Tornadoes and Knights, number 1 and 2 in a lot of respective team categories in the USA South. Southern Virginia still yet to lose a conference game, and they haven't lost since 10 games ago, riding a 9-game winning streak. Tornadoes hoping to bring that to an end, as it'll be Olivia Miller and Ruth Kempler for the tip. Olivia at a height disadvantage here, and Kempler does take it, so here come the Knights. It's Savoon to start things off. Weiland immediately pops a 3 and drills it. Southern Virginia wasting no time getting on the board there. Less than 10 seconds into the game clock. It's 3-0. Pouncey up top, Olivia Miller. She moves to her left, now bounces over to Josie Hester. Thinks about a 3 of her own, instead goes over to Pouncey. Right side, Lexi Shepard. Lexi pivots, now moves to her left. 10 on the shot clock. Olivia Miller. Couple of dribbles, now screen set up by Boyce. Pass to Hester, gonna fire her own 3, and that one is short. Short on the miss there, and now Weiland. A pass in transition to Savoon. Savoon gonna go at China Pouncey. Passes back over to Foster. Now a 3-pointer is off the mark. by Abigail Snyder. Nalia Boyce grabs the board, and here comes Lexi Shepard. Southern Virginia not gun shy at all from beyond the arc right now as Olivia Miller gets it. Right elbow. Boyce, Shepard, left wing, yells out instruction. Now Hester. A little move on Weiland. Now Pouncey. Weiland switches under her. Olivia Miller up top, moving to her left. The pass to Hester. Josie looking around. She's stuck. Now goes to Lexi Shepard. 6 on the shot clock. Lexi puts a move on Savoon. Corner. Pouncey squares up a 3, and that one's in and out. Rebound taken by Savoon and out of bounds. Tornado ball. So tornado ball there. They'll get another chance. Both teams have chucked up 2 threes so far. NATOs have made neither. Southern Virginia knocked down their first as Hester comes around the corner, bounce. Miller underneath the basket, gets it. Olivia Miller's got her first score of the day. Now Snyder over to Savoon. Guarded by Lexi Shepard. Left side, Kemp gonna go at Nalia Boyce. A couple of dribbles, a turnaround, the shot short. Rebound, Nalia Boyce. Pass out of Lexi. Let's see how fast she goes in transition here. Shepard going quickly at Savoon. In the hole. Turning around. Up top. Miller. Boyce. Deep 2. Yes! There's Nalia Boyce. Going to want to see some more of that. Dominant with that mid-range jumper of hers. And Weiland going to go right at Hester. Picks up her dribble. Finds Kempler underneath the basket. Who goes up and cannot finish. Rebound Olivia Miller. The crowd into this one early on as Coach Hudson urges the offense on to this side of the floor. Miller up top, hands to China Pouncey. Now Lexi Shepard. Lexi gonna drive inside, pass, fit into Boyce, up off the glass. Nalia Boyce, 2 more. Tornadoes gave up the opening 3. Since then, 3 straight body blows. 6-3 Tornadoes nearly 3 minutes in. Snyder gets by Shepard into the corner. Weiland pump fakes, goes inside, throws one up, and gets the finish through contact. No whistle. Back and forth early on here. 3 minutes in. 6-5 the tally. Shepard. Left wing, it's China Pouncey. Now Nalia Boyce up top. Bounces one into Miller. It's nearly taken away, but Olivia able to get it out of harm's way. Miller brings Hester towards her with 11 on the shot clock. Josie going to set up another 3. That one is through. Josie Hester from deep there. Hester 3rd in the conference in 3-pointers per game. That one's ripped and stolen by her. Miller bounces over to Lexi Shepard. Good defense by the Tornadoes early on. Weiland really the only one getting anything going against them. Shepard wants Pouncey to move to a spot and does. She gets the basketball. Nalia Boyce up top, couple of dribbles, turning around, working on Kepler, corner, Shepard, guarded tightly by Savoon, she gets around her, doubled, Boyce swings it across court to Hester, another 3 ball, too strong. Rebound Foster, now here comes Maria Savoon. 9-5 ball game, Savoon, corner, Weiland, inside, bounce pass Foster, over towards the Tornado bench, out of bounds. A substitution coming in here. It'll be number 14, Haley Page. She'll come in and get Kempler, who threw up a couple of wild shots. Wasn't able to find anything. Kempler 0 for 2. A rebound early on as well as Miller swings to her left. Pouncey thinks about firing one in. She does to Boyce. Boyce wide open, left elbow. That one rattles home. Nalia Boyce getting going early on. 6 points here in the opening stages. Savoon, quick defensive pressure. Weiland in the trap, gets it over to Page. Down low, Foster goes up on Boyce, cannot finish. Rebound Nalia Boyce, good defense. Josie Hester, left side, fits one off of the hands of Savoon. It's gonna go off Lexi Shepard's fingertips, head out of bounds and be a Tornado turnover. A chance to swing the momentum even further there, but a turnover off the hands of Lexi Shepard. Now Emma Camden will come in to get Weiland. Some early substitutions from the Schroeders, Lynette and Brett. Camden over to Snyder. Snyder lines up, left wing 3, too strong. Rebound, Josie Hester. Josie loses it momentarily, nobody around though. Skips one over to Lexi Shepard as she climbs past half court. Shepard has a screen from Aaliyah Boyce, goes away from it. Lexi in the hole, pass to Miller. Right elbow jumper, in and out. Rebound, China Pouncey on the offensive end. Hester thinks about the three, instead bounces one over to Miller. Miller at the baseline. That pass knocked up in the air. Pouncey has it, cutting. Boyce taken away. No, Aaliyah Boyce has it. It's back on the ground, and a turnover by Southern Virginia. A wild sequence there. Camden eventually, or rather Snyder, was on the ground fighting for that one, had it in her possession, and pretty much just threw it out of bounds towards the baseline, hoping that somebody was there. Timeout coming here, 4:42 to go. An exciting opening act here in the Bosch. 11-5 Tornado lead when we get back. Back out of the timeout is Tornado basketball after a hectic sequence. Lexi floats one into Aaliyah Boyce right at the free throw line. A bounce pass. Miller, quick turnaround jumper off the mark. Savoon pushing the ball in transition now. From behind, Lexi Shepard rips it out. Boyce has it. Fires over to Josie Hester. Does not have numbers. She'll get things slowed down. Josie defers to Miller. 4:24 to go here in the first quarter. 11-5 NATO lead. Shepard up top, passes to Hester. In front of the Southern Virginia bench. Now back to Miller. Thought about Boyce. Instead, she'll drive in. Oh, over the shoulder pass to Boyce. She can't finish. Put back. Miller. Offensive rebound. Yes! Third chance. Olivia Miller had a phenomenal pass to Boyce, who laughs about the fact that she couldn't finish the shot. It was a great look as Foster inside. Page. She's ripped by Hester. It'll stay with Southern Virginia. As I was saying, Aaliyah Boyce missed the shot. Olivia Miller tried to tip it back up and in. Couldn't get it to go. Michaela Street coming in for an Aaliyah Boyce, by the way. Couldn't get it to go. Got her own rebound again, put it up and got the finish. Miller and Boyce going early. As Savoon with 3:47 to go in the first. Goes to her right, it's Camden. Camden up top, it's Page. Looking to her left, Savoon has an open look for three, way overshoots it. Nothing but air there. Josie Hester with the rebound. Here's Olivia Miller. Miller in transition. Street, she's going to beat everybody to the spot. Two more. Two more for the NATOs, and they're up double digits already here in this first quarter against the unbeaten Southern Virginia Knights. Savoon hits a wall. Goes to Snyder. Corner. Camden, left elbow. Instead, going to pass. It's taken away. Michaela Street knocks it out of bounds, and it'll stay with Southern Virginia, but Coach Hudson enjoying the defensive prowess so far in this one. Coming in now is Camilla Norton, number 0. Ruth Kempler back in as well for the Knights. Inbound to Kempler. Snyder, left wing, into the corner. Camilla Norton looking for a pass, and she travels. Tornado crowd really into this one so far. Great to see, and obviously plays a factor in the home court advantage that the Tornadoes have. 7-1 this season at the Bosch. Looking to make it 8-1, and more importantly, looking to hand Southern Virginia conference loss number 1. 11-0 in the conference, 9-game win streak for the Knights. And the Tornadoes jumping on them early, 15-5. Some ferocious defense with complementary offense. Street, right to the rack. Corner, Miller, wide open three, too strong. Rebound pulled in by Snyder, and it's instantly taken away. Lexi Shepard has it. She's trapped. Goes over to Street. It's knocked away. Over to Miller. It's taken away. And Norton knocks it out towards the Southern Virginia bench. It's Brevard basketball. Some slippery basketballs out on the court so far, it appears, as Lexi Shepard gets the inbound. Another chance for the Tornado offense. Lexi turns the corner. Now gives to Olivia Miller. Right side. Olivia swings. Street. Left wing. Street inside. Puts one up through contact. 2 free throws coming for Michaela Street. Coach Hudson liking what he's seeing on the Tornado sideline. If you're Coach Hudson, I don't think you could have dreamed up a better start against such a prolific team as the Southern Virginia Knights. A chance to go up 12 points here, and we're not even out of the first quarter. First free throw rolls around and drops for Michaela Street. Street gets them both to fall, 17-5 early on. Coming in here, number 2, Presley Heggie. Camden into Snyder, who bounces back over to Camden. Back to Snyder now. Picked up, and now over to Snyder once again. Alexis Marshall, newly in the game for the Tornadoes, guarding up on Camden as Snyder gives over to Heggie. Heggie. Kempler backing down on Miller, turns around, now defers into the corner. Snyder trying to get an angle on Street, cannot. Kempler doubled, fires a pass into Norton. She spins back and goes over to Heggie. 3 on the shot clock. Heggie gonna fire a wild shot up and an offensive rebound. Snyder, she goes up and she's fouled. Coach Hudson not happy with somebody, and it's got to be whoever was supposed to rebound down there. And no, looks like he might be having some words with the official. Coach Hudson very displeased at whatever he's seeing there. So 2 free throws for Abigail Snyder as she buries the first. Second one coming here for Snyder. Only 6 points for the Knights. Chance to make it 7 with 1:59 to go in the first quarter. And she knocks them both down. Here's Lexi Shepard trying to stay on the attack. It's Miller. Hands to Hester. Norton on her, picks up her dribble and bounces back to Olivia. Shepard left alone, right side, short on the jumper, and nothing but red down on the post to rebound that one. Snyder trying to push the tempo here, goes at Street to the rack. She goes up, she's rejected, and she steps out of bounds, catching her own deflected shot. Michaela Street says absolutely not. Kempler will come back off, and now Weiland back in there. Weiland really been the only source of offense aside from those 2 free throws. 5 of the 7 points came from her, and she sat on the bench the last couple of minutes. Back in now, though, and guarding Olivia Miller. Shepard. Over to Marshall. Street. To Josie Hester now, 15 on the shot clock. Josie doubled, now 1 backs off. Marshall around the right side, gives to Miller. Olivia Miller, Weiland on her. She's going to go right at her, off the glass. That one in and out, and knocked out of bounds by Camden Brevard basketball. Southern Virginia seems to not be able to get out of their own way when it comes to getting an offensive possession. Tornadoes winning the rebounding battle 10-6 as it stands. Early on here, Shepard bounces into Miller. Olivia puts a little move, spins around, goes up again on Weiland, doesn't miss that one. Olivia Miller with 6 points here in the first. Her and Boyce both with 6 as Heggie gets a pass. Wants Weiland, instead will go across to Camden. Tornadoes get back set on defense. Heggie once again, corner, Weiland, another 3 ball. That one's good, and the foul. So a chance for a 4-point play, a real pick-me-up for Southern Virginia. Olivia Miller frustrated with herself on that one. Lead could go all the way back down to 8 here after a 4-point play if Highland can knock down the free throw. And she does. Weiland with 9 points, 9 of the 11 Knight points. Street bounces to Lexi. Lexi open from 3, now she's gonna take it. Lexi Shepard too strong on the trifecta there. Weiland out in transition, able to corral the pass, ball's knocked away, and a foul. 3rd Tornado foul, so no free throws coming here. 29.5 to go here in the first. 19-11 the score. Weiland, Snyder, open, Heggie, Street on her, turns around, goes up, and cannot get the finish, but an offensive rebound goes to Camden. She'll back out into the left corner. About 2 seconds between shot and game clock. Snyder, Miller daring her to shoot it. Now she's going to try and go at her. Puts a move on Miller. Ball ripped away, taken. Marshall on the ground with it. They fight for it. Camden underneath the basket. Can't finish. She smoked it. Ball's up in the air. Shepard, 3-on-2 break. Hester underneath the goal goes out. Weiland, and she gets the basket. One and one, and that will end the quarter. Tornadoes 21 points in the first, and they have a double-digit lead over the number 1 unbeaten Southern Virginia Knights as we head to the second. We'll step aside 21-11 the way it stands as we come back for quarter number 2. NATO's holding a lead on a Saturday afternoon. Back here in just a moment. Back out of the timeout. Miller inbounds to Christina Roan, who's checked in for the first time in this one. Miller, who had 6 in that first, gives to Street. Street looking for a pass. Go over to Marshall. Miller, left side. Thought about Marshall. Instead swings to Roan. Marshall, bounce. Miller, 10 on the shot clock. Guarded by Foster. Now Olivia, gonna go at her. Floats one up and too strong. Rebound Weiland, and she'll throw a full court pass. It's intercepted. Michaela Street like a free safety waiting on that one. Street up top, corner, Roan, three-pointer, no good. Rebound is taken in by Southern Virginia and a foul on Olivia Miller there. She's gonna have to be careful. That's her second already here at the beginning of quarter number 2. Michaela Street, the DB prowess there. That throw, that pass by Weiland was quarterback-esque, and Street waited on it. Good eyes. Up top, Weiland. Marshall on her, goes at her, knocks her to the ground, and gets 2 more for Southern Virginia. 21-13, a minute into the second as Roan fits one into Marshall. Miller up top, left side, Roan. She's open again, and still she'll give to Boyce. Nalia left side, 2 more. Man, Nalia is automatic from that little short to mid-range. That jumper is just as pure as it gets, especially for a big. Kepler, another big, gives off to Snyder. Corner, Snyder, left alone, 3, it's good. Can't do that. Snyder is one of the better shooters in this conference, and a timeout quickly here for head coach Donald Hudson as the NATO lead has shrunk down to 7 the first couple of minutes of this second quarter. We'll step aside. When we get back, we'll see what kind of adjustments Coach Hudson comes out with. 23-16 the tally. Back in just a minute. Back here out of the timeout, it looks like Jada Petty-Wilkins is in here. First time we've seen her today. No Weiland at the moment for Southern Virginia. It's Roan. Hands to Petty-Wilkins. Street. Christina Roan at the free throw line, turning around, Snyder on her. Jada Petty-Wilkins gonna let it fly. That one is just short and brought in by Savoon. Savoon swings a pass, it's intercepted. The Tornado basketball team looking like a group of DBs as Petty-Wilkins goes up and can't finish on the fast break. And that one's taken away, and a foul. A foul called against the Tornadoes. They nearly had another steal there. How about the jump and the beat that the Tornadoes are getting on some of these passes? Michaela Street and Jada Petty-Wilkins could be a pretty nasty safety tandem if we let them on the Brevard football team. I bet they got the toughness to hit a few guys too. Camden. 2 minutes into the second here. Lead down to 7 for the Nados. It's taken away. Petty-Wilkins again. Jada's fouled, and it'll be Tornado ball. Weiland quickly getting ready to check back in here. Weiland has been the primary source of offense. As a matter of fact, her and Snyder are the only two offensive contributors to this point. Christina Roan gets the ball rolling once again. Roan moving right to left, nearly gets ripped. Instead, she'll get a pass over to Nalia Boyce. Nalia working on Kempler. Hands to Street. Street around the corner. Past defender. She can't finish the layup. Gets her own rebound. Goes up again. Can't get it once more. Kempler has it. Heggie is going to be ripped away. Christina Roan from behind. Tornadoes with the aggression on defense, and Southern Virginia is not ready for it. Jada Petty-Wilkins with the basketball, guarded by Heggie. She's going to go at her. Has her stumbling a little bit. And gets by her now. This time, Petty-Wilkins gets switched on to, and now fires a wild pass that's taken away by Weiland. Careless pass there, Weiland inside, goes at Hester, cannot get the finish. Rebound is knocked over to Heggie, out of bounds, and it's Brevard basketball. Pretty exciting first half of basketball so far. 23-16, 7:05 to play here in the opening half. Christina Roan calls out the play. Roan with Camden on her, gets it to Street. Petty-Wilkins. Addison Newman newly checked in for Southern Virginia. By the way, she's in on defense as Hester going to unload a three. That one short. Rebound Kempler. Good box out there. Camden, right side in front of that NATO bench. Looks for a pass. Now it's Heggie. Heggie, Weiland puts a move on Petty-Wilkins and is called for a travel. Maybe too good of a move. Tornadoes have only scored 2 here in the first 3.5 of the second quarter. Now Christina Roan. Roan to Street. Petty-Wilkins. Josie Hester around a screen from Boyce. Now is going to get a pass, fits it perfectly into Street. Street going up through defenders and a foul. Michaela Street had nearly the entire Southern Virginia team swarming her there. Gets hacked and now has 2 free throws coming her way. Taylor Miyazaki in now. Alyssa Weiland back out. First free throw bounces off the back iron and drops in. It's been that kind of first half for the Tornadoes. Street hits the second 2. Miyazaki quickly pressured. Now Newman. Back to Miyazaki. Pass. Kempler puts a move on Street. Quickly swarmed. Up top. Pass to Camden. She goes up. She has it taken away. Ripped. Jada Petty-Wilkins. 3-on-2 break. Left side. Hester is going to be called for a travel. She picked the foot up a half second too early. Now Snyder will come back in here. on Christina Roan. Newman. Over to Snyder. Snyder working on Christina Rowan, trying to get an angle, goes behind the back now. A pass to Heggie. Left side, nowhere to go. Now Kepler, top of the key. Newman, corner Snyder. Up top, Miyazaki. Heggie gonna set her feet and fire, in and out. Rebound Kepler, she goes up and gets the finish. Now Leah Boyce didn't want to hack there and allowed the two to go in. 7-point ball game, 5:18 to go first half. Roan, Michaela Street. Bounces over to Petty Wilkins. Hester. Christina Roan. Josie Hester thinks about the three, instead goes by. Heggie stops, pulls the mid-range, no good. Rebound knocked out of the hands of Kepler. Hustle by Michaela Street. Petty Wilkins. Roan from three-point land, in and out. Rebound Heggie, that was close. And now here come the Knights. Snyder has an opening, instead she'll go to the corner. No good there from three, from deep by Newman. Michaela Street with the rebound. Street trying to get the angle on Snyder and does. She steps back, losing her for a moment. Crowd loves it. Hester, three-pointer, no good. Tornadoes have gone cold. Only 4 points here in this second quarter. Snyder thinks about firing a pass into Kepler. Instead, it's Heggie. Newman. Kepler backing down on Boyce. She turns around. Snyder, corner, Heggie, left alone, three, yes. Heggie from deep. Tornadoes can't keep allowing these open looks. Southern Virginia 4 for 10 from three compared to the Nados 1 for 11 from deep. All of a sudden, this is back to a 4-point game, 4 minutes to go. Roan fires a pass quickly to Hester. Hester bounces one into Boyce, and she's rejected. That's Miyazaki with the block. Deep pass to Newman. She fires one up wildly. She got too far underneath the goal, has a laugh at herself. Here's Hester. Hester swings it over to Roan. Inside, Christina Roan spinning around. Michaela Street now. Jada Petty Wilkins gonna fire from deep again. Too strong. Rebound to Leah Boyce. Boyce in trouble. Gets over to Hester. She has it, right wing. Josie at Heggie. Behind the back. Floats one in. Oh, what a perfect pass to Boyce. Can't finish the layup. Goes up again and cannot finish once more. That was a perfect pass from Josie Hester. Nalia Boyce had two tries at it and couldn't get it. And now a foul. A foul on Josie Hester. She swatted that one, absolutely stiffed her at the rim. But the whistle blows and it's a foul. Olivia Miller will come in. Lexi Shepard and China Pouncey. Savoon in for Southern Virginia, as well as Weiland and Foster. 3:18 to go, 25-21 the tally. And two free throws coming here for Ruth Kepler. Chance to make it a 2-point ball game. Southern Virginia has come roaring back here in the second. Kepler knocks down the first. .11-4 Southern Virginia run here in the second quarter. Kepler knocks them both down. It's 25-23, 3:18 to go. And clock issue here. The official blows the whistle and has something to say about the clock. Not sure exactly what's going on. Two officials will confer at the scorer's table. And looks like we got it all figured out now, as the Knights will take that opportunity to sub in Asia Foster. Pouncey and Alexi Shepard need some offense in a big way. Shepard to Petty Wilkins. Drives inside, steps back. She'll go up top to Miller. Olivia, guarded by Foster, gives to China Pouncey. Petty Wilkins looking backdoor for Hester. It's taken away and stolen by Foster. Chance to tie or take the lead here for Southern Virginia late in the first half. Savoon goes right at Lexi Shepard. Now passes to Snyder. Snyder to her right. Heggie picked up by Pouncey. Pass down low to Foster is knocked up in the air and taken in by Foster. Heggie cutting to the rack. She gets the finish off the glass. We're all tied up at 25 apiece. 14-4 Southern Virginia run here in the second. Tornadoes have not been able to muster up any offense. In the first quarter, they were using their defense to get offense as Josie Hester throws up another three, and that one short. Southern Virginia, chance to take the lead here. Snyder. Savoon looking for her next move. It'll be Snyder again on the left wing. Snyder, Savoon, 10 on the shot clock. Southern Virginia, no hurry this possession. Heggie, straightaway three, short, and the offensive rebound is brought in by Snyder. A long rebound there. Left side, Savoon, picked up by Josie Hester. 1:53 to go. Savoon right at Hester, rejected. Jada Petty Wilkins is going to throw a pass right back into harm's way. Snyder goes up, and a foul, and one. A chance for a three-point play. Josie Hester had a monster block. Jada Petty Wilkins immediately threw it right back to Southern Virginia. They went at Pouncey, got the contact, got the basket, and now a chance for one more with a 2-point lead. A game that we saw the Tornadoes dominate early on. Southern Virginia has regained the lead right before halftime. Snyder. Free throw is good. So a 3-point ball game. What a turnaround. Pouncey. Hester. Tornadoes shooting quickly into the possession multiple times this quarter and turning the ball over. Nearly another one there. Up top, Hester tries again from three. That one connects. Josie Hester ties things back up quickly, and Coach Donald Hudson wants to regroup. He wants the timeout, coming out with frustration at the officials. Not sure if it's directed towards them, towards his team, or what, but Coach Hudson not happy with what's going on. His team will huddle up and talk things over. 1:24 to go here in the first half. All tied up after that Josie Hester three. Josie now tied with Nalia Boyce for the leading scorer in terms of NATOs with 8. Alyssa Weiland leads all scorers with 11. And just taking a look at the team stats, NATOs shooting just under 31%. Southern Virginia not much better, just under 35%. The difference, though, 4 for 11 from 3 for Southern Virginia, 2 for 14 for the Tornadoes. NATOs are getting some open looks, not capitalizing a whole lot. Rebounding battle even at 21 apiece. 2 lead changes so far. Tornadoes have led for 15 minutes, the majority of this game, but now we're tied with Southern Virginia having the possession. Savoon over to Weiland. Weiland quickly doubled. Savoon, left side. Snyder, another three, no good. That one clanks off the iron, but Weiland right there for the offensive board. Ball's ripped away and taken. Weiland has it back. Heggie open from deep. That one is an air ball. Snyder will try to save it and will not be able to. Pouncey gives to Lexi Shepard. 1 minute even to go in this first half. Deadlocked at 28. Coach Hudson calling out the play. Lexi over to Pouncey. Gets a screen. China inside. Olivia left side. Pump fake. Goes up. Cannot finish the layup. Tornadoes have had trouble finishing at the rack today as Weiland chases down a long pass. Euro step. Basket no good. Cannot get the finish. Josie Hester with the rebound. Hester looks at Roan, now sets her feet from deep, looks around, and connects! Josie Hester from deep gives the NATOs a late lead here in this first half. Snyder over to Weiland. She's open. She'll think about it, and now we'll pass to Snyder, who goes inside, goes up, cannot finish. Rebound is knocked back out to Savoon. 10 seconds to go in the first half. She'll regroup so Southern Virginia can get the final shot. Calling out the play, Coach Hudson barking out defensive instruction. Left side, Snyder, three-pointer, in and out. That will be the half. Tornadoes head into the locker room with a lead thanks to back-to-back Josie Hester three-pointers. It's 31-28, and Josie Hester just provided the boost that this Tornado squad needed after a dismal second quarter. Josie Hester goes on a little 6-0 run of her own, and as a result, Tornadoes still have the lead as we head to the break. 31-28. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back here momentarily for some halftime stats, thoughts, and recaps here from the booth. And then we will send it over to Brevard College advertisements for a little commercial for you guys, kind of showing what Brevard is all about. And then we'll be back for second half action. 31-28, about 15 minutes away from half number 2. Don't go anywhere, folks. From the Bosch, Tornadoes leading it. Back here at the half, taking a look at some of the trends and kind of what's been going on here in this game so far. For the Tornadoes, Josie Hester with 11 points, 3 rebounds to boot, 3 for 8 from deep. She was 1 for 6 and then knocked down 2 in a row in the final minute of half number 1, which resulted in the Tornadoes holding a 31-28 3-point lead after they had given that lead up, which they held for most of the first half. Quickly got it back. Nalia Boyce with 8 points, 5 rebounds for her, 4 for 8 from the field. Pretty efficient, and honestly could have a little bit more. Missed a couple of opportunities at the basket that she normally capitalizes on, and probably will if she gets those same looks in the second half. Tornadoes also have Michaela Street and Olivia Miller with 6 points apiece. And then for Southern Virginia, a lot of their scoring has really come from 2 places. Alyssa Weiland and Abigail Snyder. Weiland with 11 points, does have 4 turnovers, however. Snyder with 8 points and 8 rebounds as well. Field goal percentage-wise, neither team shooting the ball well right now. Tornadoes at just over 31.5%. For Southern Virginia, shooting 29%. Rebounding battle, Southern Virginia leading that 24-23. Southern Virginia turned the ball over 10 times in half number 1. Hopefully that continues for the NATO's sake. Obviously, Southern Virginia and the Schroeders are going to try and draw something up to where that doesn't happen. And for BC, 4 blocks. 4 blocks against this Southern Virginia team, which is very good at blocking shots. They've got Ruth Kempler, who's second in the conference in blocks per game. Then they've got Asia Foster, who's 4th in blocks per game. And Southern Virginia has only rejected 1 shot. Tornadoes have swatted 4 different shots away. So really those kind of all the main factors in the Tornadoes holding this 31-28 3-point advantage at the half. 31-28. We'll step aside for halftime. Be back here in just a moment. Tornadoes and Knights. 3-point lead, exciting game as the Tornadoes try to hand Southern Virginia their first conference loss. I am Brady Penn, back on the air for the second half here in just under 10 minutes. Back here at the Bosch, second half action getting ready to start here in just a moment. The two teams warming back up. And again, a little bit of a recap of how we got to where we are right now. Tornadoes leading it 31-28, got out to a really big lead early on. And at the end of the first, it was a double-digit lead, 21-11. After that, Southern Virginia began the second quarter on a 17-4 run. Josie Hester knocked down back-to-back three balls late in the second quarter to make it a 31-28 ball game, a 6-0 run on her own after Southern Virginia had taken the lead for the first time since the very beginning of the game. Tornadoes snatched it right back and hoping that they can maintain it here in this second half and pick up a huge USA South victory at home. 7-1 here in the Bosch, trying to move that figure to 8-1 as the teams come out ready for second half action. Snyder, Kempler, Weiland, Foster, and Savoon. And the Tornadoes going to get to work here. For them, it's Pouncey, Shepard, Hester, Miller, and Boyce. Savoon, first possession of the second half for Southern Virginia. Foster has it up top and bounces. It's taken away, stolen by Olivia Miller. Josie Hester has it now. We'll see what she does. Shepard, Miller, trying to Pouncey. Back over to Miller. Olivia to her left, hands to Hester. Josie trying to Pouncey. Lexi right wing. A good Southern Virginia defense, first in the conference. Nalia Boyce, top of the key, going to back down. 5 on the shot clock. She kind of rolls one over to Miller. 3 on the shot clock. Miller going to hoist up a shot. Oh, nearly knocked that one down. Almost a 360 no scope from Olivia Miller. As Snyder gives Weiland. Weiland inside, has a lane. Now going to pass off to Kempler. She goes up, and she's fouled. Got hacked there by China Pouncey from the side. And the chance for the first points of the second half coming for Southern Virginia and Ruth Kempler. Josie Hester will head over to talk with Coach Hudson, and he's got something to tell her. Very serious facial expression, very adamant about what he was saying as Kempler misses that first free throw, so still no points for anybody in the second half. That could change here in a moment as Kempler prepares for number 2. And nope. No good on either of them. Miller rebounds, and now here's Lexi. Shepard. Over to Miller. Miller at the free throw line, picks up and gives to Hester. Pouncey. Tosses one over her shoulder to Miller, who goes at Foster. Corner. Pouncey working on Snyder, can't get any room, now goes to Lexi. Lexi crosses over. Lexi with a move. She goes up, and she is swatted away. Tornado ball with 3 seconds on the shot clock. Lexi put a good move on the defender, got to the rack, put it up, and had it sent back where it came from. Pass into Boyce, 2 on the shot clock. Hester hoists a long 3. That one nearly hits. Instead, it's off the mark, and an offensive rebound is pulled in by Lexi Shepard. Miller over to Pouncey. It's off her hands and towards the Tornado bench. Coach Hudson thought about taking a shot there. So here's Savoon. Corner, Snyder. Abigail Snyder passes back over to Savoon. Nearly 2 minutes into the second half. Weiland thinks about the 3. Now tries to shake Hester. Pass to Snyder. She goes up through contact, cannot finish. Rebound knocked over to Savoon. She'll turn around and go into the corner to Snyder. Snyder loses the ball for a moment. Savoon has it, pressured by Pouncey. Pass inbounds, knocked away. Her pass into the post, rather, is knocked away by Miller. Lexi Shepard now on the break. Right side. Can't decide where to swing it. Now she'll call the play out as Savoon tries to come near and endanger the ball. Pouncey, Boyce, thinks about the deep 2, puts a move. Low-key picked the foot up, might have got away with something there. Hester around the screen, pass over to Boyce. Boyce, long 2, pure! Nalia Boyce. Her fundamentals might be second to none on this team in terms of shooting the basketball. Savoon, Snyder, Inside, underneath the basket, throws up a wild layup, which ends up being a pass. Kepler, a pass to Foster, taken away by Lexi Shepard. Shepard by Savoon, does not have numbers. We'll see if she attacks. Shepard, Pouncey, China, shakes on Weiland. And now Olivia Miller. Miller, Foster on her. Gives to Pouncey. China, working on Weiland. Now Lexi Shepard, 10 on the shot clock. Lexi, a little bit of a push. Now going to go at Savoon. Lexi ripped, ball taken away. It's on the ground, fighting for it. It's a jump ball, and the possession arrow belongs to the NATOs. Subbing in now is Heggie, Presley Heggie out of Lethbridge, Alberta. The Canadian. Shepard into Miller, quickly fires the jumper in and out, and it's going to stay with the NATOs. A foul on Snyder on the rebound, and a big energy boost there. You see the Tornado bench loving it, getting up for that. So that will be against Abigail Snyder. It's her second. Southern Virginia's first as Nalia over the shoulder, grabs that pass. Hester gets a screen, bounces one in Miller. Miller goes up on Foster, she's fouled. Back-to-back fouls in succession for the Knights will put the Tornadoes at the free throw line holding a 5-point lead. Asia Foster tacked for that one. 33-28 the score as it stands, about 3.5 minutes into half number 2 as Miller knocks down the first. Olivia Miller now has 8 points. 35-28, Tornadoes have spaced themselves out a little bit, outscoring Southern Virginia early on 4-0 in the second half. Heggie over to Weiland, who's going to attack. She sees a lane. She goes up and cannot get the finish. It rolls around and off. Boyce with the rebound. Now here's Lexi Shepard on the break. Lexi gives to Pouncey. China forces one into Boyce. It's knocked away by Kempler, but it'll stay with the NATOs. Camilla Norton will come back in here. Norton, a junior out of Gilbert, Arizona, Castile High School. Hudson yelling out to his team as that pass knocked away by Kempler as well. Will stay with the NATOs. Kempler using her length to her advantage. Don't have the measurements on the Southern Virginia roster, but she's got a heck of a wingspan, and as a result, she's knocked back-to-back inbound passes away. Shepard at the BC logo, gets a screen from Nalia Boyce. She'll step back away from it, now gives to Nalia. Nalia backing down on Kempler, ball's taken away. Norton has it, now gives to Snyder, who looks for her move. Snyder to the left, wants Heggie to move around. Weiland gonna take a deep three and connect. That was a big shot for Southern Virginia. They were in a drought, still were yet to score in half number 2, and there's 3 for them. Basket's tough to come by for this Tornado offense against the number 1 defense in the conference as Hester puts a move on Weiland, goes to Miller. Miller open, pump fakes, floater from the left side, in and out. Offensive rebound taken by Shepard, back to Miller, off the glass, yes! Lexi Shepard with the hustle. The offensive rebound gets it right back to Miller underneath the basket, left alone, and a second chance opportunity there is converted by the Tornadoes. Snyder over to Norton. Weiland thinks about another shot, instead she'll drive in on Hester. Picking up, spinning around, looking for a pass, nearly taken away. Snyder has it. Snyder, corner, Norton, deep 2, too strong. Rebound Olivia Miller. Pass in transition, Shepard has to wait for it, and now here she goes. Lexi weaving between defenders. Hester right side, looking. Miller left alone for 3, instead gives to Boyce. Left corner, Nalia Boyce drops one in. Another mid-range for Nalia Boyce, and that jumper has been on point today. 4:44 and a timeout coming here for the Schroeders and Southern Virginia. They've come into the NATO's building and they find themselves on the losing end right now with their undefeated conference record at stake. 39-31, an 8-point lead for the NATO's about halfway through the third. Back here in just a moment from the Bosch. back here for the NATOs. Still no changes in the lineup halfway through this third quarter as Snyder receives the inbound. China Pouncey will stay on her. Weiland thinks about a three. Hester puts the hand up. Instead, now a pass to Norton. Snyder, corner. China Pouncey right there, step for step. Snyder to her left, forces a pass to Norton. Heggie, three ball, no good. Offensive rebound, Southern Virginia. That one's brought in by Snyder. Had 8 rebounds in the first half. Now Weiland over to Norton. She's going to shoot up a three. That one bangs home. Another big three-pointer, and that's really what has saved Southern Virginia in this third quarter from a massacre so far, is 2 timely threes. Otherwise, it'd be an 11-point Tornado lead. Instead, it's 5. Miller goes inside. Another floater. That one short. Rebound, Presley Heggie. Didn't feel like Olivia Miller needed to take that one. And now here's Southern Virginia. Weiland, transition three. Can't connect. Rebound, Olivia Miller, who passes over to Pouncey, saving it. Lexi thought about firing a deep pass to Josie Hester. Instead, she'll regroup at the midcourt logo and call out the play. Christina Roan getting ready to check back in here. Shepard. Pouncey over to Josie Hester, who's been quiet so far in the second half, as Miller nearly has a pass taken away from her, and an offensive foul. An offensive foul there against Josie Hester. Didn't quite catch what that was. Might have dropped the shoulder too aggressively. I don't know. A timeout coming here right before Lexi Shepard, or rather Michaela Street and Christina Roan check back into this one. 3:25 to go in the third. It's a 5-point ball game, 39-34. We'll take a look at some of the statistics individually for these players. For the Tornadoes, only 4 different NATOs have scored out of the 9 that have checked in. 10 points for Olivia Miller, 11 points for Josie Hester, 12 points for Nalia Boyce, and 6 for Michaela Street. Nobody else has scored. And then you look at Southern Virginia. Weiland leading the way with 14 for them. After that, it's Snyder with 8. And sort of a similar situation. Only 5 Southern Virginia players have checked in out of 11. Or have scored out of 11 that have checked in. Apologies on the misspeak there. 14 points for Weiland, 5 for 9 from the field. And then you look at the rebounds. Snyder, undersized a little bit of guard, but similar to Lexi Shepard and China Pouncey, just hustles to where the ball is. 10 rebounds for her already. Weiland had 4 turnovers at the half. None here in this third quarter. And you look at the total turnovers for both teams. 3 for Southern Virginia here in the third. 13 total, had 10 in the first half. Trying to limit those and not give the Tornadoes extra opportunities. Southern Virginia defense is as advertised. First in the conference in defense, second in offense. And you know who they're behind? This Brevard College Tornadoes team. And they're battling it out right now. 39-34. 3:22 to go. Snyder to her left. It's Miyazaki who goes over to Foster. Snyder. Heggie drives in. Now Miyazaki once more with the pink shoes. Very bright footwear. Same for Foster here with the orange, who gets the basketball. Snyder on a cut, goes up and gets the finish off the back iron. This one's back to a 3-point game where we stood at the half. Southern Virginia on a little run of their own. Roan. Miller. Olivia going to face up on Heggie and go at her. Miller goes up and cannot finish. Snyder comes up the floor, pass into Foster. She goes up and gets the roll. 1-point ball game now, 39-38. This one's heating up. Every time it feels like Brevard starts to seize control of this ball game, Southern Virginia comes climbing back into this. As Hester going to set her feet and fire another 3 from downtown. That was needed. Josie Hester. Her 4th 3-ball in 9 attempts. Snyder now going to try and go coast to coast. She's picked up. Ball knocked up in the air by Hester and out of bounds. It'll stay with the Knights. Lexi Shepard will re-enter for Nalia Boyce. So Tornadoes going small with this lineup right now. No Weiland on the floor. It does make sense. Not sure how long she'll stay on that bench for Southern Virginia. Heggie. Inbound to Snyder. Guarded by Christina Roan. Less than 2 minutes to play in the third. 4-point game. Heggie Around a screen from Norton, not losing Michaela Street at all. She wants a pass into Foster, who goes up and is rejected, and a late whistle. A late whistle after Olivia Miller had the defensive stop. That's Olivia's third. And 2 free throws coming here for Asia Foster, the sophomore forward out of Knightdale, North Carolina. Foster, a couple of dribbles, fires it up, in and out. 1:49 to play here in the third, 42-38. Foster could still make it a one-possession game on free throw number 2. And she does. Now Leah Boyce will immediately come back in. Not sure how much rest she got on that bench. Olivia Miller will step out. 42-39. Josie Hester and Weiland tied for leading scorer in this ballgame with 14 apiece. NATO's and Knights doing battle right now. Christina Roan, left side, guarded by Heggie. Boyce into Street. Street drops the shoulder, and a foul on Southern Virginia. Michaela Street with some bully ball there. Not a big player, but the aggression is more than maybe anybody on this floor. As you see there, dropping the shoulder hard. Playing some 90s style basketball. As Haley Page comes in. Page, a junior out of Stevens City, Virginia. Haven't seen much of her as Street has it left elbow. Boyce, another deep 2, in and out, and the rebound brought in by Page, who is swarmed. She'll try and get a pass off. She's walled off by Tornadoes. That one is going to be trapped. She tries to throw it off of Shepherd. It will be Southern Virginia basketball, and Coach Schroeder wants a timeout. Even if that stays with Southern Virginia, that is great defense by the Tornadoes. That's great pressure. And if you make Southern Virginia uncomfortable, you can make good things happen. Doesn't matter how many games they've won. 42-39. Another timeout for Southern Virginia with 1:18 to go. We'll step aside here in this third quarter. 3-point Tornado lead. Things getting good. Out of the timeout, Southern Virginia nearly walked themselves into another turnover there as the Tornadoes put pressure right in front of their bench. Pass goes into Miyazaki. Deeper inbound pass as Snyder has it now. 1:13 to go. Heggie thinks about the 3. Pump fakes on Hester. Now fires from the free throw line. Too strong. Rebound fight between Foster and Street. Foster has it. Can't finish, but gets her own third chance opportunity there. And gets 2. 1-point ball game, less than a minute to go in the third. Similar to how the second quarter was ending is this third. Street goes at Page, hop step, turning around, and a travel. She got the basket, but just a step too many. Another Tornado turnover. Coach Hudson telling everybody to get back. Doesn't want to apply the pressure here. 45 seconds to go in the third. Snyder goes over to Foster. Foster floats one into Heggie. She goes up on the smaller defender, Shepherd, and the Knights take the lead. Late in the third, the Knights have another lead. They've barely held one all ball game. Had one at the very beginning, had one for just a moment late in the second, and now they have their third. Shepherd thinks about a pass, now fits into Boyce. Boyce surrounded. Street, not good spacing at all right now by the Tornado offense. Nobody's moving around. Roan stepping back, straightaway 3. Christina Roan too strong. Offensive rebound brought in by Shepherd. It's a fight for the basketball. It's a jump ball, and the possession arrow does go Southern Virginia's way, but with only 3.1 to go here in the third, we'll see if they even get a shot off. 43-42, the lead for Southern Virginia. 3 seconds. Snyder from half court off the mark. 43-42, Southern Virginia has overtaken the Tornadoes as we enter the final frame But as those familiar with Tornado women's basketball know, the fourth quarter is winning time here at the Bosch, especially for Coach Donald Hudson. 86 career wins, looking for number 87 and looking to hand Southern Virginia conference loss number 1. Back in a moment, 43-42, Southern Virginia, fourth quarter on the horizon. Fourth quarter of action, and this one has not disappointed. 43-42, Southern Virginia grabbing a late lead there in the third. Only their third lead of the ballgame. Street bounces into Lexi Shepard, quickly picked up on by Snyder. She redirects Street. Pass now to Josie Hester. Miller. Street moving a lot off ball, so is Lexi Shepard. Miller will go over to Street. Michaela. He gets a screen from Boyce, now gonna pop a mid-range and hit it from the top of the key. Michaela Street bangs that one home. 30 seconds in, NATO's had the lead back, 44-43. Low-scoring affair, as we knew it would be. Both these teams tops in the conference in defense, despite both being tops in offense as well. Kempler, free throw line jumper, way too strong. Rebound knocked up in the air, though, to Snyder, who goes up. She can't get the finish. Rebound is hauled in by Kempler. Now it's rolling towards the midcourt line, and Presley Heggie saves it. Snyder, another chance for the Knights here. Gets a screen, goes away from it, corner. Page goes to Miyazaki, who goes up and can't get a finish herself. Rebound spiked up. Page goes at Miller and gets the finish. Tornadoes cannot rebound right there. Lead right back in Southern Virginia's favor by a point. Miller swings into Street. Street goes right at Page off the glass, cannot get the finish. Wanted a whistle through the contact, which she kind of initiated. And now Kempler doesn't know where to go with the ball to Snyder and passes to Page, who's alone at midcourt. It's ripped from behind. Lexi Shepard. Great defensive play. Shepard looked to the right. She had Miller open to her left. And now she'll bring Miller towards her. Moving to her right, however, Lexi inside, slashing, goes to Boyce. Nalia gets the finish at the rack. Number 50. And 2 minutes in, Tornadoes have the lead back, 46-45. Final quarter, Weiland and Maria Savoon preparing to check back in for the Southern Virginia team. Snyder fits one into Heggie. No, she doesn't. It's taken away. Josie Hester on the backdoor defense. That pass knocked away. Street will save it. No. Street lets it go, thinking it was going to be Brevard basketball. Last touch by Southern Virginia. The referees had a different idea, and now Coach Donald Hudson wants the referees to confer with each other on this. They're saying it was last touch by Brevard. Coach Hudson will digress and not argue any further. 46-45, a back-and-forth affair here at the Bosch. Snyder, left corner, gonna go right at Lexi Shepard. Underneath the basket, she goes up, she's ripped. It's gonna go out of bounds, saved by Snyder. Weiland from deep and in and out. Rebound, Josie Hester. This ball game has had everything, folks, and it looked like Weiland was about to put one in there to give Southern Virginia the lead back, this time by 2. Instead, not to be, as Josie Hester hauls in the board. And now she has the basketball on the right side. Nalia up top, goes into Miller. Miller at the free throw line, Weiland on her. She's quickly doubled. Boyce, pump fake, goes inside. Nalia doubled. She goes to Shepard, gets past her, but she's able to haul in the pass, and a shot clock violation. Tornadoes not able to get a clean look, and Coach Hudson frustrated that the Tornadoes couldn't take advantage of the defensive stop that they just got. Asia Foster will come back in, and Kemp will have a seat. Kempler, rather. Maria Savoon running the point here. Savoon to Snyder, right wing. Weiland, Hester on her. She's going to back down. Has some space, instead will pass to Heggie. Savoon, a move on Shepard, turning around. Weiland, Snyder, goes at Street, has a crease. Heggie, deep two, and an absolute flop. A flop by Heggie, and she's going to draw 2 free throws. She knows she did not get hit. Presley Heggie went to the LeBron James School of Acting. And now Coach Hudson wants a timeout. Man, that Heggie threw up the shot, couldn't get it to go, and simply just hit the deck late after missing and was rewarded for it. Frustrating if you're somebody rooting for the NATOs or Coach Donald Hudson. Media timeout here, I believe, 46-45. Man, there may have been a little incidental contact. I'm not sure. Don't have the replay on hand, but that is tough. That's a tough one to stomach. A chance for consecutive defensive stops, and instead Presley Heggie is going to go to the free throw line, trailing by 1. About 3:15 into this third quarter. Coach Hudson going over things with his lineup. Going to assume this is the 5 we see at least most of the rest of the way. Street, Miller, Hester, Shepard, and Boyce. Coach Hudson still talking things over with them. Southern Virginia feeling like they can turn the tides here, especially after that foul with 2 free throws coming up. They feel like they can seize the lead and not look back. Southern Virginia not really in this situation very often in terms of close games late. You look at some of their final scores: 78-53, 69-37, 97-52, 77-36, 78-50. Their closest win over this stretch was a 64-57 victory in overtime against Grove City, a non-conference opponent. So the foul was not on the shot after all. There will be no free throws for Heggie. Must have been called on the floor. As Snyder goes to Heggie, who fakes on Pouncey, tries to get in the lane, goes up, can't find it. Heggie trying to go through contact once again there, and it didn't work. 3.5 into this fourth quarter. Lexi Shepard trying to get things going for this Tornado offense. Street makes a move on Heggie to the rack, and through contact, no foul. No foul. Coach Hudson gives a glare at the official. And let's hope that this fourth quarter doesn't come into an official dictated period. Tornadoes don't get a call there. And now Southern Virginia with another chance to retake the lead. Scoreless their last 2 possessions. Heggie backs down on Shepard, goes up too strong, rebound Foster. She goes up and gets the second chance basket. Another lead for Southern Virginia, 47-46. Lexi Shepard brings it up the floor. 5:50 to go. 47-46, Southern Virginia with the lead. Pouncey, right side, Michaela Street. Hester up top, now Lexi. Josie Hester has a move on Weiland and is going to try to get it. The Boys has it nearly knocked away. Tight defense. That one goes through Lexi Shepard's hands. 6 on the shot clock. Lexi, mid-range jumper, too strong. Rebound, Maria Savoon. Nobody in gray in the area. Savoon. Shepard on her. Pivotal part of this ball game, as all fourth quarters are. Weiland trying to cross over on Hester, spinning around, now has a pass to a cutting Snyder, who will fire a mid-range, and the lead is up to 3. 49-46, Tornadoes can't let this one get away from them in these stages. 5 minutes to go, Olivia Miller getting ready to come back in, likely in favor of Street or Pouncey. As Shepard, picked up by Foster, finds Boyce. Nalia at the free throw line, back to Lexi, who pump fakes on Foster, fits it into Nalia, and she's fouled. First foul against the Knights here in this fourth quarter. And Miller will come in. It will be free throws for an Aaliyah boys. Deemed a shooting foul. Kind of looked like it might have been on the gather. No complaint here as Aaliyah boys will head to the stripe for two. Aaliyah in and out on the first. Chance to split the pair here for an Aaliyah. And she does just that. 49-47, back to a two-point game. Definitely manageable as Heggie goes to Snyder. Hester on her. Snyder, patient. Had Heggie for a moment, now gets a screen from her and will give to Savoon. Savoon, Snyder, a move on Hester. Pass over to Weiland. Thinks she's open for three. She's picked up by Pouncey. Now she goes to the rack and is fouled. Aggression there, splitting defenders, and now rewarded with a pair of free throws. Weiland with 14, but only 3 here in the second half. Knocked down a tray ball in the third quarter. Nothing other than that. Free throw is good from Weiland. Lead back to 3. Chance to make it a 2-possession game on this next one. Both free throws good there for Weiland. It's 51-47. Miller into Lexi Shepard. Savoon will lay off. 4:18. Tornadoes have got to get some offense going. Only 5 points here in the fourth quarter. Only 6 for Southern Virginia, so it hasn't burnt them yet. And Hester, no, Boyce called for an offensive foul. Nalia, not sure what that was. I guess a moving screen. And that's the third Tornado team foul. Southern Virginia leading by 4. Chance to extend that lead. It's their largest of the ball game as Foster goes over to Savoon. Weiland in the corner. Pouncey on her. Goes in on Pouncey. Turning around. Pass to Heggie. Heggie gets it off the backboard. A nice find there by Weiland. And the largest lead of the ball game for Southern Virginia at 6 points. 53-47. Tornadoes have got to get some offense going quickly. And I suggest going through number 15 or number 10. Boyce looking for a cutting Hester instead to Shepard. Physical defense on Hester off the ball as Shepard goes in, pass, Boyce, free throw line, jumper is good. Nalia buries it and gives a little point over to Lexi Shepard, saying thank you for that one. Nalia Boyce has been so good shooting the basketball today, pure on just about every jump shot it seems. It's funny, the one time she may have had a bad shot was on a free throw, which is rare for her. Weiland taken away. A steal by China Pouncey. They're on the ground. A jump ball will be called, and the possession arrow goes the Tornadoes' way. China couldn't stay on her feet. As a result, Southern Virginia retains possession. And, man, it seems like Southern Virginia has had a way of catching every break in the second half. A lot of opportune moments for the Knights, and Tornadoes hoping that they don't take advantage. And now some yelling from the Tornado crowd. They're upset that Southern Virginia got that basketball. It is the right call, though. Possession arrow did belong to the Knights. Snyder, 2:57 to go. Savoon up top to Weiland. Their biggest offensive threat. Snyder, Shepard on her, crosses up on her. She'll pass to Heggie and a travel. 2:48 to go. Tornadoes need a basket in a big way, down 4 after that stop. Southern Virginia bench with the defense chance. Here's Shepard. Tornadoes have played so well in this game. Couple of opportunities where they flew off the handle for a moment, but as good of a game plan as Coach Hudson could have devised. Boyce, another mid-range, yes! Nalia Boyce is automatic. 19 points for Nalia Boyce. Savoon. Over to Foster, gonna go right at Boyce. Snyder, deep 2, too strong, rebound, Nalia Boyce, ripped out of her hands, Heggie has it, she goes up and finishes. Nalia Boyce had that one taken away from her, 55-51, 2:09 to go. They've got to defend number 50. She just keeps knocking them down like it's nothing. Shepard Around a screen from Boyce. Goes at the cup. Wide open layup. Cannot finish. Finish is not there for Lexi Shepard. And then a foul against her. Fourth foul against the Tornadoes. Referees checking to see if it's bonus time, and it's not. 1:55 to go. This one's still far from over. 55-51. The Nados need another stop. Or two at that. Down 4. Cannot allow a second chance like you have a couple of times here in the fourth. Foster, cross-court pass to Savoon. It's through her hands, but she's able to recover right on the Chick Martin court logo. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Savoon over to Heggie, loses the basketball. Boyce has it. 1:27 to go, a golden opportunity here for the Tornadoes. Hester, open. Looks at Boyce, and now a bounce into Boyce. Dangerous pass. Lexi Shepard has it now. Gotta go. 1:16 to go, down 4. Shepard has the ball knocked away from her, but does get it back. Lexi working on Savoon. Miller into Boyce. Boyce is fouled. It'll be on the floor. I believe that one's going to go against Foster. And it is. 1:08 to go, 55-51. Tornadoes need a basket here, and then a stop. Shepard into Nalia. Nalia loses it for a moment. Now hands to Josie Hester. Bounce pass into Miller. Between defenders. Miller one-on-one with Heggie. She goes up and she's fouled. Olivia Miller draws the foul there. A chance to cut this one down to a 2-point ball game. At least 3. If Olivia can knock down at least one of these free throws, it'll be a 1-possession ball game with a minute even to go. Coach Hudson conferring with Lexi Shepard and China Pouncey on the side as Olivia Miller shoots the first and cannot get it. Miller, 55-51. Second free throw, no good. Miller can't hit either. And it's 55-51 and 55 seconds to go. Weiland, open, goes inside, pass into Foster. She goes up and cannot finish. Rebound, China Pouncey. Southern Virginia continues to give the Nados chances here. Shepard, 41 seconds to go. Hand to Josie Hester. Josie, Miller, back to Hester. Got to go quick. Hester, deep 3, yes! Josie Hester from beyond the arc, and a timeout for head coach Donald Hudson. 1-point ball game. 55-54. Josie Hester delivers from deep, her 5th 3. Oh my goodness, Josie Hester, thank you for that. One from deep. It'll be Southern Virginia basketball. See what kind of defensive pressure the Nados bring. Any foul puts Southern Virginia in the bonus. And now some sort of discussion between the officials. Man, that was a big shot. That was as big as it gets for Josie Hester, who has 17 points. That was Olivia Miller with assist number 5 on that shot as well. Tornadoes coming out the break, as well as Southern Virginia. It'll be Weiland to inbound. She has 16. Nalia Boyce leads all scorers with 19. Hester right behind her with 17. Weiland inbound is taken away by Hester, but going the Nados' way. That one was knocked out of bounds towards the Southern Virginia bench. Olivia Miller got a beat on it, and it was last touched by Southern Virginia. 30 seconds to go. Nados can take the lead on this possession. Pouncey, if they miss, they've still got a shot as the ball is taken away. It's on the ground, and it is a jump ball possession. Arrow stays with the Nados. This game has everything, doesn't it? Tornado basketball, nearly a key turnover there. Instead, it'll stay with the Nados. 20.8 remaining. Miller looking for a pass, gets it into Lexi Shepard. Lexi, 18 seconds to go. Shepard looking, can't get anything open, gives to Boyce. Nalia turning around, pass inside Hester, it's taken away, and now Snyder has it, she'll be fouled. A timeout for Southern Virginia, 7 seconds to go, and they have a chance, assuming the Nados foul, to make it a 3-point game and put it on the shoulders of a Tornado defender, or not defender, player rather, to knock down a 3-ball. That was tough. Really, really good defense by Southern Virginia on that possession. It's a 1-point ball game, just over 7 seconds to go. I'm not sure what came first, the foul or the timeout. The foul was not officially announced, so I believe it was the timeout, and the NATOs are still going to have to foul and send Southern Virginia to the line. 7.3 to go. Time not on the NATO side. Neither is the scoreboard. 55-54. As the NATOs huddle up and talk things over with Coach Hudson. Would be a devastating loss if it does finish this way. Tornadoes at least hoping for some OT. At the very least, give us another shot at this thing. It'll be interesting to see the strategy that both coaches come out of the timeout with. And it will be a backcourt inbound. You see the NATOs probably deploy some kind of trap here with Weiland inbounding. Miller's going to go take Weiland, the inbounder. Hester wants on Savoon. Defense setting up here. Weiland immediately trapped in a foul. Savoon will get 2 free throws. Bonus time, 5.2 to go. Two free throws for Savoon. And if she misses one, it's absolutely huge. Olivia Miller will step out. Michaela Street will step out. Lexi Shepard and Christina Roan in. One-point ball game. Savoon. Bosch getting loud for her free throws. First one. Good. Snyder comes up to give some encouragement to Savoon. 9-game winning streak at stake for Southern Virginia. Trying to extend it to double digits. That one is good. Tornadoes will get this one in, and a whistle blowing. Coach Hudson wanted in substitution. China Pouncey comes out for Jada Petty-Wilkins. Tornadoes will have 5 seconds to get off a 3. They got to knock it down if they want this one to continue. No timeouts for Coach Hud. Lexi going to try and get by the defense. 3, 2, Lexi from the corner, no good. And that's going to be it. The Tornadoes fall 57-54. A truly heartbreaking defeat to the #1 team in the conference, the Southern Virginia Knights. Southern Virginia just a little bit better down the stretch. Got a couple of breaks. Tornadoes had plenty of chances and breaks themselves, though. Could not capitalize in the end. A key turnover on the second to last possession may have been what did the Tornadoes in. 57-54, the final score here. Really, really tough loss for Coach Hudson and company here against the #1 team. Southern Virginia will extend their lead in the conference. They'll extend their winning streak to 10 games, and this was the closest game they have played maybe all season. When you take a look at what they have done, this, in fact, is the closest ball game they've played all year, and they come out on top. 57-54 the final. We'll be back in a moment for final stats, thoughts, and recaps. Tornadoes lose a really, really tough one, and they fall to 7-4 in conference. 57-54. Back in just a moment from the Bosch. Back here, final score at the Bosch, 57-54, Tornadoes falling. Take a look at some of the individual statistics for Southern Virginia. A lot more Knights got active in the scoring in the second half. At halftime, only 5 different Knights had scored. By the end of this thing, 8 had. And leading scorer for Southern Virginia was Weiland with 16. Weiland had 6 turnovers, though. Didn't matter in the end. 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 for 5 from deep in 27 minutes, 5 for 10 overall, 50% shooter. 12 points from Snyder, who also had 12 rebounds and 3 assists, and then 11 points for Presley Heggie, who was 5 for 15 from the field, only 1 for 6 from deep, had 5 boards. And then you take a look at what the Tornadoes did. Josie Hester nearly got the Nados back on top in this one. 17 points, a late three-pointer was absolutely critical. She went 5 for 11 from deep, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, turned the ball over 3 times, also had a block and a steal. 19 points for Nalia Boyce. Nalia was 9 for 14 from the field. Her mid-range, she was absolutely feeling it. 7 rebounds, 4 turnovers for her, a block and a steal. And then 10 points for Olivia Miller. Miller with 10, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and the Tornadoes fall short. Real quick, looking at the team statistics here. Nados finished the game at 35%, actually shot a higher clip than Southern Virginia, who shot it at 33.9. 5 for 20 from deep for the Nados, 6 for 20 from deep for Southern Virginia. Nados did lose the rebounding battle to the team that's number 1 in the conference in defensive rebounds per game. They lost that battle 41-34. Turnovers. Nados actually had the plus margin in that, 19-16. Southern Virginia turned the ball over more. Points off turnovers, though. Southern Virginia winning in that department. And then fast break points. 14 fast break points for Southern Virginia, 13 second chance points. And the Tornadoes falling just short as Southern Virginia extends their winning streak to 10. 10 wins in a row. Closest ball game of the season that Southern Virginia has played in this one, but they do come out on top. They move to 12-0 in the conference. For the Tornadoes, they fall to 12-5, 7-4 in the conference. They will not move. William Peace well behind them at 4-7 in conference. So the Nados will stay firmly in that number 4 slot. Southern Virginia increases their conference lead as they move to 12-0 in USA South play. Nados falling 57-54 in a defensive battle here in this one. And we're coming down the home stretch in terms of Tornado basketball games. Only a couple left here in the regular season. They've got Pfeiffer this Tuesday at home. That is a blackout game. Pack the Bosch against Pfeiffer. And then next Friday, they head on the road to take on North Carolina Wesleyan. Really quickly, if we take a look at the men's basketball, men's on the road taking on Mary Baldwin, the number 1 team in the USA South. And that one is a 3:30 tip, so just getting started over there. And for them, they will take on this same team, Southern Virginia, the men's team, on the same floor next weekend. 2 o'clock tip, February 3rd. The Tornadoes, things not looking good early on at Mary Baldwin. About 6.5 into the first half, they trail it 12-4, but now 12-7 after a Carson Evans 3. And if you want to go check that one out, go find Mary Baldwin stream. Mary Baldwin and the Brevard College Tornadoes, first place in the USA South at stake in that one. And the first place women's team is Southern Virginia after coming out on top 57-54 over the Tornadoes. 12-0 in conference, 10-game winning streak for the Knights. And Donald Hudson and the Tornadoes fall just short in this one by 3. Back at it again Tuesday night against Pfeiffer. Until then, Brady Penn signing off, saying let's go Nados.